For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here, wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving week, as well as a happy start to the LHSAA high school football playoffs. I hope everyone is healthy and safe, starting off both of these wonderful times of the year, the holiday season, as well as the high school football postseason in Louisiana. I know I'm certainly thankful and excited that we've made it this far and can't wait to see what's ahead these next few weeks as high school athletes and coaches from around the state battle for the right to play for some state championships shortly after Christmas. Usually this time of year, I release my playoff predictions for each of the 9 brackets via Twitter, but in the first year of the Louisiana vs. All Y'all channel on YouTube, I decided to take to a video format to go bracket by bracket and look at each matchup all the way through to some state champions. Remember, this is all in good fun, similar to March Madness and the college basketball tournament. No hard feelings anywhere, and I certainly look forward to some folks proving me wrong, and I have no doubt letting me hear about it along the way. So hopefully we can have some fun with it. Hit the button below to subscribe to the Louisiana vs. All Y'all channel on YouTube and make sure you don't miss any of the playoff prediction videos, as well as interviews with high school athletes, coaches, and sports reporters from around the state of Louisiana. Best of luck to everyone, and hopefully I'll be seeing a few of you in the Superdome in just a few weeks. The Class 2A bracket is full of some intriguing, talented, and experienced teams from top to bottom, including some notable Division I college targets and commitments. You see Manny up at the top half of the bracket, the number 1 seed, and Faraday, the number 7 seed. The two teams that met in the Superdome just a year ago have already advanced because of COVID issues, knocking Varnado and East Feliciana out early. Manny fell to Faraday 56-17 in the 2019 state championship and came back strong. They were a younger team last year, had a lot of guys that are back this year now as seniors and leading the way, including Cadillac Roan, the ULM committed athlete, the quarterback for the Tigers, and Terrence Williams, the running back and linebacker, one of the top talents in the state of Louisiana. And just kind of running down some of these teams, you see the 16-17 matchup, South Plaquemine, a school that a lot of folks know about from its success traditionally on the football field. 17, Franklin has big defensive end, outside linebacker Garen Stansberry, one of the best pass rushers in the state this year. That number 9 and 24 matchup, Amite and Capital, always a ton of talent at Amite. Javette Gilmore will be one of the top players to watch in the 2022 class, but each class for the Warriors has its share of talent. Capital at 24, with a senior, Jacoby Belazar, who plays all over the field for Coach Corey Brownfield, probably one of the more underrated talents in this bracket, someone worth watching on the field against the Warriors in that opening round matchup. Number 8, Red River, faces number 25, Lakeview. Number 5, North Caddo, faces number 28, Welsh, a recent state champion in 2017 and the 2018 runners-up. General Trask, the old Lake Providence, at number 12, will host nearby 21 Rayville. General Trask, obviously a much improved program, has a win this season against Evangel that really opened a lot of eyes early in the season. Number 13, Bunkie, will host number 20, Pickering. Deshaun Jackson, another underrated talent, more of a basketball guy for much of his high school career, but has been making a ton of plays for Pickering as a senior wide receiver. Number 4, St. Helena, with Jency Riley Jr. and Deshaun Singleton, a couple of guys that we've done some work on Louisiana vs. All Y'all and on Prep Red Zone. Just worth keeping an eye on at that number 4 seed. That's a 2017 state runner-up and a group that's really worked hard through a coaching change to make some noise this year. They will host number 29, Vidalia. The bottom half of the bracket, number 3, Lauraville, coming back after a COVID quarantine of its own late in the season. They will host number 30, Jeanneret. Number 14, Rose Pine, a talented young group, quarterback Ethan Fry and some of the weapons around him, and Grant Cody, Isaiah Stinson, will host number 19, Northeast. Number 11, Avoyles, will host number 22, Oakdale. Number 6, Kinder, and Coach Brett Fuselier, liking what he's seen in terms of his team's improvement from the start of the year to the finish and just executing better and getting some more things rolling on the offensive side of the football. Will host number 27, Delcom. Number 7, Faraday, As I mentioned, the reigning state champions with a 56-17 victory last year. They have the Milligans back, Elijah White, and as the Trojans have had in recent years under Coach Stanley Smith, a ton of talent all over the field. Number 10, Port Allen will host number 23, Pine. Number 15, Jonesboro Hodge, hosting number 18, Kentwood. Always a threat, whether they're in 2A now or 1A in some recent years, a recent state champion. And number 2, Mangum versus number 31, Madison, two schools up in the same northeast area of the state. Mangum has the big lineman Chase Underwood, and that number 2 seed after beating Faraday in the regular season, ending a little bit of a drought against the Trojans. As I mentioned, Manny gets the de facto bye with Varnado having to forfeit and exit the playoffs. I have them having to face Franklin in the second round of the playoffs. Franklin getting the best of that South Louisiana 16-17 match against South Plaquemine. I do like a meet for as talented as I mentioned Jacoby Belazar being to get past Capital, Red River to win at home against Lakeview, North Caddo and General Trask to both win home games in advance, St. Helena to advance, and Pickering, my biggest upset in the top half of the bracket in the early going, to take not too long of a trip to Bunkie and get a big win for that program as they advance to the second round of the postseason. I like Manny in a meet to perennial powers to get to the quarterfinals and face in a matchup that anytime it comes across the plate in Class 2A is one that catches a lot of statewide attention. I have North Caddo, the 5, holding serve against General Trask and getting to the quarterfinals against the 4 seed St. Helena. And Manny and St. Helena, as I mentioned, two teams that have recent dome trip experience, including Manny as a runner-up last year and really fighting to try and win its first state championship in a few years. Both those teams getting back to the semifinals in the top half of the 2A bracket. In the bottom half of the 2A bracket, I have mostly chalk in those opening round matchups. Lauraville advancing, Rose Pine advancing, Avoyles and Kinder. Faraday, as I mentioned, has already pushed through because of the East Feliciana forfeit. They host Port Allen in my bracket predictions. Mangum, the 2 seed, advancing past Madison, and the one upset I have in the first round on the bottom half of the 2A bracket is just an 18-15. Kentwood heading up north and coming back with a victory against Jonesboro Hodge. That could be a really interesting game, but I've got the Kangaroos bringing back the dub. Heading on to the quarterfinals, similar story. Lauraville, the 3 seed, versus Kinder, the 6 seed, which could be a fun game out a little bit west of here. Two teams that have had some recent postseason success, including Kinder making state championship runs, Lauraville knocking at the door. Lauraville, as a lower seed, made some noise in last year's playoffs, bring a lot of guys back, and looking forward to making an even deeper run this time around. Faraday, the 7, 2 Mangum meeting in that other quarterfinal, and I'm sure that when Mangum got the best of Faraday in the regular season, that the last thing they wanted to do was have to face Faraday again in the postseason. And so that will be one that if those first 2 rounds go this way, a lot of people, particularly in the central and northeast portions of the state, will have circled. And I will take Faraday to get the best of the rematch, as so often is the case with these high school rematches. A team that is able to win a competitive matchup in the regular season, sometimes trouble for the coaches trying to get their guys ready to go for the second time around, knowing that the players on the other side are going to be hungry. And in a matchup like Faraday and Mangum, when there's only a short distance between them and there's a long-standing rivalry between the two, that Faraday will be itching to get back on the right side. And I have them doing so here, facing Lauraville in the semifinals. Heading into the state championship game, I have number 1 Manny versus number 7 Faraday, a rematch of the previous year's state championship, as mentioned. Faraday got the best of the 2019 matchup. Manny coming back hungry this time around with Coach Jess Curtis. And for all the work that those guys put in, I think they have been eager for a year to put on a much better showing than what we saw in the Superdome in December 2019, where some things just kind of got away from them and spiraled a little bit, and that game became more lopsided than anyone necessarily anticipated. And I have them
bringing the state championship back up to Manny. And I have a feeling Coach Curtis will probably watch this video and shoot me a text and be very excited about that. I'm sure I'll also hear from some folks from Faraday on Twitter. I think this one is a much closer matchup than what we saw a year ago. And at the end, that Manny is able to make just a couple of plays and have that little something extra with a couple of those seniors I mentioned, Cadillac Roan, man in the quarterback position, Terrence Williams, one of my favorite running backs in the state, Manny Tigers, getting back on the right side of things and winning the 2020 Class 2A state championship.
Let me know in the comments where you disagree, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to subscribe to the Louisiana vs. All Y'all channel on YouTube and not miss any of the playoff prediction videos or interviews with high school or college coaches, athletes, and sports reporters. And don't forget to mask up as we head out to these high school football games over the next month or so and make sure that we can get to the state championships. For Louisiana vs. All Y'all, Jarrett Roser. Thanks for watching.